Of all the topics Pope Francis could focus on, he has chosen marriage and the family. And he's inviting the whole church to talk and pray with him about this. Why? Because he knows that healthy, holy marriages and families are key to everything else the church does. If we can help people bring God into their homes, they will be strong and flourish, and both the church and the world will be better for it.
Welcome. Today we're going to focus on school-age children with the help of Mary Kobrick Shell, who works for Catholic Social Services out of Hazleton. Mary, welcome.
Thank you.
Mary, I'd like to start off by looking at some of the misconceptions or what we would probably consider faulty or flawed beliefs that parents hold today that often discourage parents in trying to raise a child.
Yeah, I think that parents sometimes have those beliefs like everybody must love and approve of me. If my child misbehaves, then I am a failure as a parent. Or if I can avoid life's difficulties, then I don't have to deal with them. And that, affects their ability to parent their child in a positive manner.
For parents who are feeling discouraged, obviously it's going to be next to impossible for them to effectively parent their child. What are some of the ways in which they can encourage themselves so they can do a better job, a more effective job of parenting?
I encourage parents to step back and think about what beliefs may be affecting them in a negative manner and how they can look at them positively. We have something we call self-talk. That's just what it sounds like, that voice inside your head. So recognizing when that self-talk is negative and avoiding that, turning that into a positive, I can do this. I don't need to be approved of by everyone, and looking at things in a positive manner as, this is a challenge, this is not a problem, and also to keep your sense of humor because, that's such an important part of parenting. I think being able to step back and laugh at a situation and look at it in a new light.
One of the great challenges that parents face at any developmental stage is the issue of discipline. Looking at school-age children, what makes discipline at this stage a little unique, a little different?
Well, this stage is a relatively quiet stage developmentally for children. They're not having those toddler tantrums anymore, and they're not going through the teen angst stage yet. And so this is a great time to establish really what your family rules and your family values are. So when you're looking at discipline at this stage, it's a good idea to maintain consistency, really being clear about what the rules and values are in the home and being consistent with enforcing that. A lot of times at this age, I think it's important to bring the child in and have them contribute to what they think a consequence might be, really involving them in, letting them know what the problem is and asking them for help in some solutions to what a consequence would be to solving that problem. So I think that that's a very important thing to do at this stage for discipline. Still, timeouts are effective for children in this age range, and we still look at that rule of having it be 1 minute per year. So it might be a 10-minute timeout. I encourage parents also to look at the timeout as a break and saying to their child, I need to take 10 minutes away from this situation, and I think you do as well, so that we can think about how to solve this problem and how to learn from this so that this behavior doesn't continue. So at this age, that's a great time to be instilling that.
When we look at family values that we would like to instill in our children, why is it so important for parents to sit back, reflect, and think about what kind of values they really would like to instill? And also, why is it so important for parents to model those same values?
Well, when I work with families, I stop them and I ask them to describe their child to me as an adult, what qualities they would want their child to have. Again, this is a great age for parents to be teaching that to their children, because Research has shown that school-age children are the most receptive to learning that, developmentally between the ages of 8 and 12. But I think that parents will state that they understand what the values are in their family, but they're not really communicating those to their children. So again, going back to that question of how would you want me to describe your child, when I ask that to parents, they will say something to me like, I want them to be honest, I want them to be kind, I want them to be hardworking. And I ask them, are those the values you're demonstrating to your child? If you want them to be hardworking, do you work hard? If you want them to be kind, are you kind to them? Do they see you being kind to other people? And it's a question of saying, what message do I want my child to receive? And is that the message that I am sending them? Because sometimes those are two different things. And, I think that this is a time where we can be developing that parenting plan, asking ourselves, what values do I want to pass on to my children, and are they the values that we are modeling in our home?
I know that you are a major advocate of this concept of family meetings. How do you think family meetings can nurture the type of values that we're just talking about, as well as strengthen and enhance communication in the home?
Well, I think that family meetings are a great opportunity to teach our children that they have a voice in the home. It's a time to sit down together, and sometimes when people think of the concept of a family meeting, they think, let's sit down and figure out what's wrong with little Johnny, and everybody will blame him or for a situation that's going on. But that's really not what it is. It's a time that the family takes and says, we are going to carve out this time for our family to talk about issues, both good and bad, within our home. And we're going to give everybody a chance to talk. I think that a family meeting is something you run like an actual meeting. So you're coming with an agenda, and you're coming with a note taker. School-age children love to be involved, and so if you assign one of them, you're going to take the notes on this week's family meeting. It helps you and the child to be accountable to what you've come up with, as far as going back to the idea of including them in the choices and consequences that are in the home. It gives them a chance to be heard. We do it in my family as, what was the best part of your week? What was the thing that you struggled with this week? And how can we work on solving that together? We also use this as an opportunity to plan our family activities. And so, it brings about that value that we have of communication and doing that in a positive manner. Research has shown that children who are included in a family meeting when they're young feel that that's a place that they can go as they get older to discuss problems and to discuss issues that arise. And so it's a great time in the school-age years to set that up.
In the hectic life that we live in these days, with parents and children going in so many different directions, it's very easy to say, well, we're going to have to postpone it, maybe we'll do it next month. But what would you suggest? Why is it so crucial that we try to maintain some consistency and set time aside each week for that family meeting?
Well, I think it's something that, if you plan it at a regular activity, we all run our kids to after-school sports and music lessons. This is something that is crucial to the family, to establishing communication and establishing a place of value. So planning it at a regular time and a regular day, and setting that aside that, Sunday afternoon we're going to have our family meeting, or Friday evening, whatever works for your family. But again, sitting down together and working out a time that you're going to have it, and being consistent with meeting at a regular time, and having an idea of what you're going to talk about, coming up with some solutions for whatever the issue is for that week, and writing them down. The following week you can review your minutes from last week and see how you did. Again, it's a great way to model for our children the importance of working together as a family.
Mary, during the course of these family meetings, when problems do arise and issues have to be addressed, why is exploring alternatives such a great problem-solving technique?
Well, I think it's an idea of, again, letting a child know that there's not, that they have a say in what's happening in their family. But when I discuss this with families, I tell them that exploring alternatives is not giving them ultimatums, do this or else. It's sitting down and coming up with solutions to an issue. For example, a family I worked with recently, their child was regularly coming home past their curfew. And this child was saying, I am old enough now to be staying out past 6 o'clock with my friends. They're all able to do it, but I'm not. And I feel like you're treating me like a baby. So, the parents asked the child to come up with some solutions, and a younger sibling also came up with some solutions. And the younger sibling suggested, well, why don't you all come here at 6 o'clock and they can stay until 6:30. And so it was a great alternative to just you have to be home or else. And it answered the parents' desire to have this child home at dinner time, and it answered the child's request for a little bit more independence. So they came up with that as the solution that they were going to use, and then the following week they revisited. How often was that happening? Well, twice the child did not come home for 6 o'clock with the friends. And so they said, this was what we decided to work on, and unfortunately you chose not to use our solution. So we're going to take a week of you not going anywhere with friends, and you're going to think of your own solution. And then the child came back and said, okay, well, I've decided that I will always make sure I'm home for 6 o'clock. Can we try this again? So it's a great example of modeling problem solving. And I think the idea in that case was having the child almost self-discipline. This is the goal that we want to get across. How can you work with us to get this across? And so everybody felt like, they gained a little something from that negotiation, so to speak, in the applying consequences and choosing an alternative to the consequence.
Mary, thank you so much for all your help and wonderful guidelines leading children through this particular age group. For the benefit of our viewers, if you're still struggling with some issues during this particular age group dealing with school-age children, here are some possible resources that are available to you.